Welcome back to VCT Americas, where Cloud9 takes the first map in 13-7 fashion. I'm going to go directly to Athena on this one. Top of the day, I asked you, what's the timeline for when we need to see teams really find their form, find their footing within the league? You said it was week 3, and if we isolate this first map of the series, it looks like Cloud9 might be, filling out here.
Yeah, I mean, C9 really showed that. I think we were wrong about star players because all of them were star players. Literally every single person on this team did their job, got kills, got multi-frags. They ended up being like really, really good. They used their util in like really good scenarios. Everything just felt like it clicked for C9 on there. And then we did talk about Jake, and Jake actually, we were talking a little bit, while the game was going on about an Omen diff, right? Jake was kind of showing that he was doing good. He was over there. But then Bang started warming up towards the end.
Exactly. There were definitely opportunities here for Bang. We talked about consistency for both of these players in terms of their role of controllers, but also both of these players playing roles differently, right? Jake really being like an entry fragger for the team for Cloud9 when we saw in the attack, but Bang on the defense, at least when it comes down to those moments where, for example, you have to anchor into the site of C, gets that 2K and saves a round, not allowing Rooney to get that plant in. And Bang's done a good job. They put a lot of responsibility for 100 Thieves onto Bang as an anchor player. But overall, when we talk about how, C9's been an all-star roster in this first matchup, you can't just rely on Bang.
I think that's exactly what we're illustrating there with that, right? Is that Bang can start to pop off, but if there's really no support behind him, if there's not a second fragger or somebody who can follow up on the plays in the space that he's creating, then 100 Thieves isn't going to find victories in this matchup against Cloud9, particularly when on the opposite side, Cloud9 is doing everything we asked of them and more, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we even saw Rooney towards the end there kind of getting multiple multi-frags. And I think just in general, like that team just showed that they can work together in a seamless way that I'm not really sure if they can bring that onto the next map because it is Ascent. We've seen both these teams kind of not be 100% confident on this map, but it's going to be really interesting. Both these teams aren't 100% solid.
Right.
So we'll kind of, when you're talking about the week 3 kind of setup and are the foundations good? I think Ascent is kind of where we're going to see.
I think that's a perfect transition, too, right? Because the expectation was, with Cloud9 picking Lotus, eventually, that they would come away with the victory on that one. They did that, and then again, maybe impressed us a bit with the, the disparity in round wins overall. But we move on to the other side of things, and this is 100 Thieves' time to shine, I think, here for Ascent. So what's the expectation? How can they clap back and instill some confidence in you that ultimately they can take the series?
I'm actually just having flashbacks and PTSD of how even C9 were playing last week against Lao, where it wasn't really working for them on a defender half. One thing that was a big plus, by the way, for C9 on the first map of Lotus was how good they are in playing aggressively into the C pushes, into the B pushes. So very confident to fight, which is why I want to get to that map of Ascent. Against Loud last week, there was a lot of these pushes towards B main where, okay, pistol around and kind of worked. They opened it up, and then you get into these later rounds where it's like, oh, well, we can't really get a good control or feeling of the map on defense. Let's just go back to the same thing. Let's try to keep pushing towards B, but there's nobody there. So the adaptation when it comes down to now maps where teams are comfortable in, and you need a lot from Rooney, for example, in terms of IGLing into the mid round. That's where it was lacking a little bit in terms of the defensive half of C9. So I'm hoping that comes in and 100 Thieves can learn from those mistakes of C9 to really capitalize on that second map.
Yeah, I mean, earlier you were also talking about 100 Thieves is kind of going back to their old play style where they're kind of doing more retake-y scenarios. And I think coming into Ascent, that's something that could be really, really, really strong. Retaking and constantly playing off the site and using your util to kind of dump into the site is super, super important on Ascent, especially against a team that may not be as comfortable. And I think right now what we saw is, we saw the players warming up towards the second half. I think that plus a new playstyle coming in could kind of solidify 100 Thieves that map. And the only reason why I want them to win is because I did pick them as my prediction.
I think we all did, though.
I was going to say, we're all ride or die on that one together.
We're not biased at all.
Look, we either look real good or we all go up in flames at the same time. Now, Cloud9 got the dub in map number 1. Coming into today's match, though, Cloud9's Jake thinks he's got a solid game plan and the key to taking down 100 Thieves. Take a look.
I think against 100 Thieves, adapting against them, because they have one set game plan like Evil Geniuses did with the Gecko. All we have to do is adapt to what they're doing, and we will simply win.
Adaptation is the name of the game there, and I'm sure you can speak to that. It's one thing to have a game plan coming in, But once you start to see the rounds go through, you have to be able to adjust to what your opponents are ultimately showing you, whether or not that aligns with your expectation coming into the day or goes completely against the grain.
Yeah, I mean, I love that confidence because when you're IGLing, you literally are thinking about what your team is doing, what the other team is doing, and how you can go forward and kind of adapt to that play style. And I think kind of talking about Gecko too, I think is really interesting because they've kind of done their homework, they've studied, they've seen that we can adapt to the play style, we can adapt to just the comp specifically as well. And I think that that is just super, super important, especially when both these teams are kind of seemingly skill level, like head to head at this point. I think for IGLs too, like it's really important on Ascent to be able to understand what to do in the mid round.
Yeah.
Ascent is such a like tight, closed off map. You can't just get space easily. It's not that easy on either side.
Which is why I was saying like it was very difficult to look at Rooney last week of trying to adapt it to the mid round or while that map was moving forward into the later rounds or into the later game. But you have Stellar on the other end that's able to do that kind of thing, right? And IGL that could also actually frag. And I think this is going to be a very nice chess match of trying to figure out how at least C9 are going to play, which is why we're probably going to see this third map.
You may have noticed my eyes lit up when you mentioned Stellar's name because it makes my transition so easy to this. Before we head into map 2, let's get a quick warm-up in the Aim Lab shoot-around. Right now, we're going to be watching Stellar as he gets prepared for that second map and trying to take us to Haven.
Yeah, definitely. As I was just mentioning before, so we have a chance to talk about this man right here. Great IGL, and also a person that's just able to frag out as an IGL. So it's not really on the lurk.
Well, he's IGLing. He doesn't need percentage there. Who cares?
Keep it low. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Look, I don't need to hit the shots. I just need to tell you to hit the shots.
Yeah.
Body shot berries, get the lurks, get the clutches, you know. So definitely he's the man that can definitely do it for this map right here or for this team right here of 100 Thieves.
Yeah. When you're thinking though about Cloud9 as a team right now, what you saw out of map 1, like who do you even look to target or isolate when the difference in frags, for example, from the bottom of the boards to the top of the boards was 11 to 17. There's only a 6-kill discrepancy across all 5 players on Cloud9. Normally, I'd be like, yeah, just like let's find a way to isolate the top fragger or the duelist who's finding, you know, those first bloods. But it seems like everyone on Cloud9 is capable of doing that today.
Yeah, even looking at the first map, as we were looking at how Lotus plays or just how C9 plays is how good they are of just being unorthodox, right? It's not about having a duelist, okay, they have to create the space. It's not about, oh, we have a controller, we have to like set the smokes. It's more about they're willing to move in as a team and trade immediately. And having a composition when it pulled out a Neon before, it's like there's no real space making that you have, so you have players that need to follow up behind. Now for Ascent, Leaf is probably going to come out onto this jet, where maybe now finally 100 Thieves has a chance to really shut down one player at least to start and continue with that player advantage.
Yeah, I mean, it's really going to come down to seeing these comps and seeing if they do stick to their kind of bread and butter or if they do try to actually adapt with the comps. I think that would be super interesting. But yeah, Alex, just as you said, we do see Leaf coming out on the jet and we do see Bang on this Omen, which I think is going to be really fun to watch. I know we're talking about Bang a lot today, but we did just see him kind of warm up that Omen tech, Omen mechanics. We do have the KO coming out, which I think is super, super important. Kind of contesting all your teammates, your opponent's util is so important on this map, on Ascent, because you can deny takes, you can deny executes, you can deny retakes, you can deny post plants, you can deny so much stuff with KO that I think kind of seeing how that would play around their comp would be super, super interesting.
Yeah. KO plus Sova, so much information gathering available to the squad there. It'll be a Viper pickup for Stellar here in the third agent pick. Cryo's the guy who I've got my eyes on. While we've been talking a lot about Bang, and Bang stepped up in a big way, especially on the back half there, finally warming into it. It's Cryo who I'm still kind of left wanting for more ultimately.
I agree, and that's where when Cryo was playing that jet on that previous map of Lotus, and he brings out the operator, and we know it was round number 18, and you're playing against a double controller that usually just like splits up the map and everything too. It blocks the visions, it blocks sights, no opportunities for him to pick this off. Now you have only one controller to deal with. You have an opportunity to get those forward positions.
Yeah, but how frustrating, right? He finally gets the op into his hands, and Cloud9 just goes cool, we're gonna play whatever opposite side of the map from where you are. Like, that's gotta be so absolutely frustrating as a player to be on the stage, right? Yeah, it's great IGLing, it's great calling, but on the other side, I'm sure as an individual, it's a tough thing to deal with, knowing that you need to get things done for your team and just not having the opportunities to do so. Either way, we reset for map number 2 here on Ascent. It's 100 Thieves looking to extend the series. Let's find out if they can get it done and take us to a third map as we head back to Doug in Sideshow for the cast.
Thank you so much, Dash. Yeah, a 1-0 lead for Cloud9. And Josh, you know, we've talked about this a couple of times, and as we think about the long-term implications, the larger scale of standings and playoffs involved here, it feels like there's a lot at stake here for 100 Thieves.
There definitely is. I mean, they let that game slip against Sentinels on Ascent, 12-14, and that means that if they were to go 1-2 here, they have yet to play against the 4 best teams in Americas.
They still haven't played.
They still haven't played against the top 4 teams here, 100 Thieves. So if they lose here today, they're probably going 3-6 and maybe missing out on playoffs. That's how important this game is. 100 Thieves cannot allow this one to slip through their fingers, and they're already off to a bad start. They've got to battle back. I'm looking at the buy here. There's a Sheriff on both sides on the pistol. Rooney has one, and so does Ascent.
That's what you'd expect, right?
Yeah, very normal, very normal.
Not Cryo, not Leave, no. Rooney and Ascent. We'll see who wins that out. As first tags go through, Cryo's taking a little bit of damage. Oh, that flash is good, but the counter flash is better. It provides just enough time for Leave to get out, and now they push forward. Rooney gets the first with the Sheriff, though.
Yeah, Rooney was playing in that back side area where he could actually wall bang. Ascent has come around the side as well. It settles for a moment into a 3v3 until Derek landed that shot. Cloud9 have cleared out B main, so they know that these players are on site. Can they break it?
Here.
They're so weak. Silence across the side as Bangs. Head spotted. Zeppa waiting, no flash, nothing to go around. All you have is Alciz's turret. Oh, and the ping pong is so good, but they've left Alciz so alone. The clear is there. He's got a shot at it. The pre-fire. Derek patient on the swing. Takes a step back, and Celsius gets the clutch.
What a horrible start for 100 Thieves. Both pistols won for Cloud9 on map 1. And now pulling that one out. A 2v3 where Celsius is able to pick up the last 2 just purely because of damage done. I don't think he's winning that if both of those players are healthy.
The last one was labored. I think you're absolutely right.
But the fact that he's able to take it with such confidence because he knows he only needs to land a certain hit, a single hit. And this now puts 100 Thieves in a rough position. They went 8-4 up on their attack half against Sentinels in the game that they inevitably lost. And they're going to force here. They got the plant down, they got 4 kills, a lot of money. Gonna be invested.
Early too.
That might make it look just like a default.
So much utility being invested into the small area of the map. And Jake has more. Paranoia feeling some of the pressure. Stays though, hasn't repositioned. Oh, it's because of the flash. So much. A lot of counter spam. A look at Zeppa swinging out Jake as well. They've gone hunting. They know what they want. Zeppa with 3 on the round. Ooh, that's a clean transfer from Derek though.
But with 25 health left, what can he do?
And a 1v2 as well. He still has some time. He has a spike, sure, but Rooney's waiting. Just on the other side. That was close. Getting whatever he can here. Derek 1 point away from the 103.
Gun here. Guaranteed to get it for next round, but I don't see how he's going to win this one. Oh, the shot dart almost. And he's been wary of this flank the entire time. But now as Celsius creeps around, Rooney lands another shock.
You got to give him respect for staying alive as long as he did with 25 HP. But yeah, the shock dart ultimately cleaning things up and getting Cloud9 too.
And what a disastrous opening to this. 100 Thieves did not look good on their defense side the last time that they played Ascent. They only won 4 rounds on a map that is the most defense-sided in the pool currently in the Americas. They got all of their results by going 8-4 up on the attack half. And unless they pull out some magic with the Sheriffs here, it's looking like they're 3-0 down to begin.
4 Sheriffs, no armor on Cryo.
Toxin's failing.
Believe Stellar was the only one hit by that knife. Derek was just a bit further back. And he may be swinging right into Leaf's crosshair. Oh my gosh.
Leaf with another first kill. He was 5-1 on Lotus in terms of first kills to first deaths. You want to know the head-to-head matchup against Cryo? 4-0. 4-0 in terms of first kills in the round. Yep.
He just had his number.
He absolutely did, and Cryo's got to reverse that. Maybe not in this round, though. He's working with vastly different weaponry.
First couple of shots to the Sheriff not landing.
They are definitely going to be looking for this player to go. There is no way!
What?
What? Zelsis?
Are you awake?
Any ear possessors? How did that happen? I mean, maybe Zelsis is anticipating other people to be flooding through B main there, so he takes a step forwards. But this could well be falling apart at the seams for Cloud9.
30 seconds
For this to be the win, the round win that they get.
Oh my
would
word.
Be unconventional at best.
The lurk play, nobody on B. A Phantom in the hands of Bang, too.
They've upgraded some weapons. Cryo's still healthy. Hasn't taken a single spot of damage yet. He's going to be the first peek out back sight. Stellar landing the shot. How the heck have they done this?
This is ridiculous.
You called it at the beginning of the round. It may take some magic, some miracle for them to win the round, and, well, Josh, they did.
I don't think I've ever seen a round quite like that. Cryo dashed his lane and manages to land body shots to take down Zelsis. And then that just sprung chaos into the round.
I
and
hope
the lurk plays were all successful.
I hope he sees Zelsis' POV there. I mean, because I'd love to know if it was, yeah, I saw it, I'm expecting the flood, I want to take that fight, or...
I really don't know. I feel like the only thing that makes sense is that he's expecting more players coming out of that smoke, and he thinks Cryo's just pathing straight to site.
Yeah,
but in that situation, how do you possibly expect Cryo to be on his own, going for the solo dash down lane?
Without a cloudburst either. I mean, nothing. He just went.
4-player push here for Cloud9, going for a set piece.
Speaking of going, the flash is there, Cryo dancing around the cloudburst, but he's spammed.
I mean, the Thrifties are finding so much value here in such different ways. 100 Thieves in the previous round decided to go for the Scooby-Doo strategy, spread out, look for clues. And it worked. But C9 put a set play together and decided to crunch on tiles. And despite having really low weaponry, that one was very well crafted. And it comes from such a different place. When you're in tiles, you're expecting the aggression to come mid. Everybody does that. They just copy the Vision Strikers play.
Enemy tag.
Does Stella and Derek have what it takes to be able to recover this round?
That's a big ask. They haven't even made their way out of main.
But Zelsis is quite isolated. Derek thought that he'd been able to get it, and Zepper rips them both to pieces. Thrifties on Thrifties here.
We've played 4 rounds, half of them have gone that way. That's just outrageous.
But it's also devastating that to the 100 Thieves economy. They just can't get anything going. And when things are so back and forth in this direction, Cloud9 are the benefactors. It now puts 100 Thieves in a very tough position, actually. They could try and force. You can see their economy in the bottom right. It's scrappy. I mean, Light Armor Bulldog isn't too bad, but Light Armor Spectre, too, coming out from Stella.
Yeah, but we've had 2 Thrifty round wins, Josh.
Exactly.
This is the better buy.
Oh, why buy at all? Come in with classics. And this is the Viper utility you expect. That Viper orb in mid makes it very difficult for anybody to challenge. You don't know when the orb is going to be dropped. And the wall that threatens misinformation over towards B.
Meanwhile, well handled by Cloud9. Just waiting the drone out, not showing anything.
And Cloud9 going for a pretty unconventional way of holding this map. Very heavy A main control, with also Zephyr in a position where he's kind of jiggle peeking over towards Catwalk and just ready to drop back to probably Jenny or Dice. These 3 players are going to be difficult to deal with. And Rooney, how does he get that? A spam kill through close mid?
There wasn't a dart? I don't know. I don't know how he did it. Either way, Rooney continues to light it up.
And with 100 Thieves having no A main control, they've got to just pivot. 30 seconds left, and this is all going into the lap of Zelsis.
With Rooney close by, you see him still playing back in spawn, spamming through. He got another, this time onto Cryo.
He's got a 6th sense. There's 20 seconds left. Derek's managed to collect 1, but they've lost their timing to pressure.
15 seconds left. They may have swung out to try to take the fight. I don't
Last
They
player
wanted to win it
standing.
out via
10
frags.
seconds left.
And now Derek's on the opposite side of the site from the spike.
There's no, I mean, there's no way Derek's getting that back. They completely lost their timing to try and pressure Zelsis there. Ruined by Rooney, who got that spam kill over towards Market, and the round just ends in a whimper. This is a disaster for 100 Thieves, and Cloud9 looking great. On a map where we very recently saw them struggle versus Loud. It looked like a very large tier difference after Cloud9 had come out, set plans, on split, looked really solid. And then they go into maps like Ascent, and the coordination was not there. Leaf was still popping, you know, the pieces were still working, but Cloud9 didn't look ready.
Yeah.
This game has been chaos, frankly, but it has also demonstrated that they've got on the same page, I think, with what they want to be doing.
Reminds me of what Athena was saying on the desk, right? 3 weeks in, you're expecting them to feel a bit more comfortable, to have the roles more evenly figured out.
Asna with the null command here could just be a very simple pop into A. Drone to start, they've got to clear the recon dart, it isn't, and another spam kill takes down Cryo. There's no Omen entry from Bang, and so all of these players just stuck in. Bang tries to get in, taken out by spam through smoke again.
This is supposed to be a really hard site hit, and it very well may end up as a flawless round for Cloud9.
100 Thieves did not see another human. They just all died through smokes.
Last player standing.
Derek playing spoiler a little bit. On to Leaf, he gets a second on to Jake too. Oh dear! Right. All good. Everything's fine.
No need to panic, disaster averted. Of course the trades are going to come through for Cloud9. Timeout for 100 Thieves. As Mike's just tells Derek, could you do that one but a little better next time?
Yeah, why couldn't you get all 5?
Yeah, get the 1v5 going next time. But overall, that was devastatingly good from Cloud9 there. They managed to kill Cryo, who is currently 1-5 attack side jet, before he even began to take a step forwards into the site. Cryo had no time to dash, couldn't even smoke in. Bang wasn't there at the same point as him.
Yeah.
I mean, 100 Thieves are getting smoked.
Literally, smoked. Getting killed on the other side of smokes, like you mentioned.
Yeah,
right? They didn't see a single person in that round except for Derek at the end, who made quite a run at it, but nothing doing.
That was the joke, Doug. Thanks for explaining that one.
Sometimes they go past, okay?
100 Thieves are in a very rough spot. And seriously, this match could mean everything for them. You need to make 6th place in order to get playoffs. And everybody was expecting 100 Thieves to get there. No problem. But when the top 4 in Americas looks as devastatingly good as they are, and 100 Thieves look like they're in a slight tier below, that battle actually for 5th and 6th becomes very important.
Yeah.
And one of their main competitors, Sentinels, already with a win over them. If they lose here, that's another competitor, Cloud9, with a win over them. This could be the split. This could be 100 Thieves' hopes and dreams slipping away.
The middle of the pack so tightly pressed together. You're right, it seems so early. It's just week 3, but the implication's so great. Leaf's gone hunting. How patient is Derek here? Oh dear.
The trade is good.
But that's both controllers down! Now they don't have any way to get onto the site!
Derek is somehow salvaging this round, actually. And if 100 Thieves are able to slow the tempo down, they're going to have better weapons. They can come into this with better than a couple of Guardians. Jake just threatening there that he's repositioned, but 100 Thieves are not slowing down at all. They're immediately getting to site.
No, confidence in that. Rooney has his ult. But they're on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, it ain't going to stretch over here. The question really is, what can they do in a post plan? Derek's going to have a recon dart back online by the time Cloud9 get into position. And Cryo's got his knives. Look, 2 seconds left on this.
Not ready yet.
So the spam with the Guardians could be great, but I think he sent it a little early.
Oh no, forget it. He hits one, it's gonna be countered! Rooney gets it! Because of the weakness from Derek! Another retake for Cloud9! Another round for Cloud9!
What a retake. What a read. Rooney and Jake just finding round after round, outclassing their much more experienced opponents on 100 Thieves. I mean, playing really well. And to be honest, Bang had it way too difficult on map 1 because he's playing solo smokes on a map where you really should be playing 2. But the fact that coming here into Ascent, which should be a playground for Derek and Bang, they're still having these moments where the Cloud9 newer players are getting more value, being able to win the rounds, put him on the board.
Let us hunt.
Rooney jumped over the pulse of the 100 Fury, by the way.
Yep.
Just unreal from him. So young, but so comfortable on the big stage.
And this is panic stations now for 100 Thieves. If they're not able to try and recover this a little. Flash through without dropping the Viper Orb there and faking like it could be a bit of B pressure, but Cloud9 are not going to believe this at all because they've already got out. And Stellar, way too slow to get back around the corner. Cloud9 are now fully in control of the B side.
The concerning thing too is Stellar was waiting for that exact situation.
Yep.
Waiting for pressure and from B, still not able to win the duel out. Bang's falling too.
That is Jake just dominating a main against a drone. And 100 Thieves are just trying to make anything they can happen.
Last player standing.
It's just solo plays across the map. Because anywhere they go, Cloud9 are dominating. They're allowing 100 Thieves control of mid, but they're losing all of the outer wings of the map.
You imagine a timeout close by, given how rough of a half this has been for 100 Thieves.
I think they need to put a lot more emphasis on controlling A main. That was the big thing that Loud were doing well against Cloud9. Cloud9 could not hold on. Oh, look at that little fake TP play from Jake as well.
Played him like a book. But Zeppo was there to clean it up.
And those are the kind of rounds where you have the NT. You know, everyone knows the game is slipping away from them.
Yep.
A match where all of the expectations were that you really should be winning this one. And if not, you're gonna have to reassess where you belong in terms of the rankings of America's teams. And you just put the sad little NT. So now it looks like 100 Thieves are gonna try and dominate A main a little more. But there are 4 players over on this side of the map for the defense.
And all that utility as well. You've got 2 nanos, the alarm bot, the turret, everything is here. And I think they're trying to play her on getting the knife onto Zelsis, but I want to say he avoided it. Yeah, all that utility's still up. And there's no go. There's nothing to really set Cryo out. Now Leaf comes through. Leaf gets a third anyway.
Spike down A.
These A pops look absolutely disastrous, and Leaf is just styling on them to end. Not only did Cloud9 read that that was going to be A aggression coming out, but 100 Thieves never had anything going. I mean, you're absolutely right, Doug. There's no dash out. There's no crosshair, manipulation. Leaf is just able to keep focused on the choke point with a crossfire, and there's nothing. There's nothing happening here for 100 Thieves.
7-round lead for Cloud9. Once again, expectations shattered. We even teed it up at the beginning, Josh. Cloud9 have been in series leads before, right? They've been comfortable. They've looked like they've been able to hang, and then they crumble. But this time, the foundation's cracking on the opposite side.
Absolutely. Zeppa looking like he wants to go for a reclear there. There is an alarm bot that he could potentially flash off. Calling for help as Zelsis comes along, and Zelsis has the Odin, sorry. It's a nice idea.
See that lockdown used, and there's still a little bit of room to get through, but I mean, you're kind of stuck here. You've got to commit if you're going to funnel out, and it's all into Rooney. The flash was in the smoke. You start to see some of the lack of synergy in how they're playing this out.
But they're still getting in. Despite that lack of synergy, this is actually one of the best site hits that they've been able to put together. The fragment grenade from Ascent are very important because you saw how Zeppa wanted to get through that smoke over at CT. And now the question is, can they hold on? Oh, this fight could be absolutely crucial. Derek's not ready for it. There is a pit that could be deployed here by Stella.
Right on cue.
And that just, it feels awful to have to go for that in a 3v3 when you've only got one round.
I mean, but at this point, you'll take any round you can get.
Absolutely.
What tools do they have? They have a paranoid, they have a swing out, and it's a 1-for-1. Time low. Asuna playing backside, waiting for the challenge. That's the pit. It's opened things up. Asuna in the 1v1. Zalsis on the challenge to spam, not landing as he swings around and gets it. But is he gonna have the defuse? No.
No time. And what a showcase that really is, honestly, for 100 Thieves, because that's the best round they've put together and everybody died. I mean, that's what they're working with currently. Like you said, they'll take any round they can. And it has been a defense-sided map, but not really for these two teams. So that's why it becomes very dangerous. I also want to point out that Leaf currently has 5 first kills, and 100 Thieves haven't got a single one in this map so far.
Dire straits for 100 Thieves. The attacking side not finding a single first blood.
Shutting them down.
In a lot of ways, Josh, that kind of tells the whole story of the whole map.
It does. And not only that, Cloud9 were coming into this game only winning the first kill battle 40% of the time. That's really poor. And yet they were still doing fairly well. So imagine what happens when this team is winning all of those first duels. I mean, it just looks dominant.
Yep.
Little trap play here as the paranoia comes through from Catwalk. Zephyr and Leaf looking to try and fight this. Instant response from Asna.
A second, too. Good opener from the attacking side.
And that's actually the first kill that 100 Thieves have been able to get by dismantling that trap play. And Asna wasn't worried about getting knocked there because he's got his null command online.
Heady out from Stellar, choosing to spam that smoke. And well, we didn't see that molly, all good.
Could this be the lifeline that 100 Thieves need? Normally, you would say an 8-4 half is not that bad for the attackers. But considering that 100 Thieves have not won a single pistol round so far, and their game against Sentinels, they only won 4 defensive rounds, that's where the worry starts to come from.
30 seconds left. Flawless.
A flawless round out from 100 Thieves to get to 3. And really not a moment too soon. You were talking about how an 8-4 half is often, you know, okay. But I mean, they were down 8-1.
Yeah.
This could have been way worse.
Clean from Asna, though.
One enemy remaining.
Leaf has knives. Looking to try and make a play through mid by the look of things, as Zephyr and Jake continue to dominate A main.
They may try to go that way. You hear the blades instantly used. You wonder now it's a guessing game for 100 Thieves. Where are those blades?
Cover going out.
I thought through it. Looks like it's gonna be an A split, and they're skilled up so far. The timing on the auto is gorgeous.
Spike down.
That's the spike. Derek's left alone to try to salvage a brutal situation. Now they can retreat. 100 Thieves are gonna have to pinch in to fight A main. Oh, he's repositioned, and they don't know. That flash is good. Seppa with 3. What a disastrous round, but it's far from over.
Jake with 42 health. He might just be able to hold on to this or buy enough time for Zelsis to reinforce. And now these 100 Thieves players are getting pinched. They're wondering, where could people be? Oh, that is so enormous. Completely relieves the pressure coming from A's side.
Yeah, but are you expecting 2 on the flank? You know 1 is here. Are you expecting Zelsis? Jake, who's so weak, the spam, he still delivers. Stellar, a brutal 1v2. He just got a shot at 1. Not able to land the shot, swings around, looking for the spam on a Jake, delivers! Stellar gets 3! The Red Bull clutch for 100 Thieves!
And the IGL puts them on the board. 4 rounds. Is it enough? I think possibly if they get a pistol, maybe 100 Thieves have recovered the half to the point where they might be able to do something, but my God, they need this pistol.
So desperately, and that's a big if, Josh. You mentioned that they haven't won a single one.
No. And remember that that's after having come off the Sentinels games, winning so many of them.
Yeah.
Was it 5 out of 6 or something in the Sentinels games? And they ended up losing that in OT.
One enemy remaining.
Cold out from Stellar as well. They showed Asuna's reaction because he gave some of one. Stellar did not. Cold, cool the entire time. We're actually going to throw it down to Riv, who's standing by with DDK.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. DDK, General Manager of 100 Thieves, also having a little bit of breath of fresh air there at the end of the first half. DDK, talk to me about that first week, first Evil Geniuses matchup. The team looked so good. They came out really strong. How are you going to find that here today? What could you pinpoint from that first week that the team was doing well?
Well, the first matchup we had against Sentinels was a little scrappy. I think today is looking a little scrappy as well. We seem to have some of those matches. I think the fans are familiar with, the heart attack. These things seems to be a real thing. But against EG, I think we really found our form. We came into it, we were very loose, and we won our pistols. Kind of need to get some of the pistols going here. That would make life a lot easier. But I think generally the map pool as well was really helpful for us, and we knew exactly what we were doing going into that one. I think here as well, going into Lotus straight away, I think that was a little bit unexpected, but other than that, I think I'm not too worried, and we are pretty early on here, so I have full faith. I think coming into the end of this series, and we're looking at the way that the maps are progressing, Ascent and then into Haven definitely favors us a lot more. So if we can just hang on through the rest of Ascent, we'll be fine.
Well, like we said, in that second half, you have a little momentum going. How's it been introducing Cryo into the team? How is it feeling? Putting a lot of pressure on the shoulders as well, having Cryo go into that duelist role. How has he been coping with that?
Yeah, so I mean, Cryo's been a dream, integrating him into the team. He fits in, like, chemistry-wise, super well. The guys have so much fun together. It's a really great group of players in terms of just like the friendship on the team, and he fits that so nicely. And he, as a player, is extremely talented. We know that if we look at the long term with Cryo, which is what we're looking at, he's good enough to be, it's a world star. And we're wanting to make sure that we help him to develop. We don't want to just keep him on that duelist role. We don't want to just keep ourselves in a position where he's going to be more inflexible in the future. We want to make sure that we're developing him into other roles as his skill sets, again, he's a fast learner. He's more of a passive jet, and he's able to perform very well at all the passive roles. Like, we've seen him on Sage, we've seen him on Omen. Not going to throw anything else out there just yet. That's what you've seen. Okay. But he is a player that's capable of a lot. So he's great. It's fantastic to work with.
DDK, thank you so much for taking the time. And know the 100 Thieves fans are ready for this second half. Let's throw it back to the casters to get it underway.
Thank you, Riv. Yeah, always good to hear from DDK. And I think, Josh, he said something that kind of stood out in describing how they had to navigate the rest of Ascent. He said, hang on.
Yeah. He said they've got to hang on for the rest of Ascent, and then, Haven would be favored towards them. I agree with that, but I think they've made it very difficult to hang on. They need this pistol round. They've got to be able to win 1 out of 4. It becomes absolutely imperative for them. So early on there, the 0 point. Line up from B. Gives them a bit of an idea of where the opening salvo was. Leaf is so incredibly deep. Looking to try and pinch a CT player, but everyone on B has dropped into backside.
Stellar, Asuna, close by. There you see that flash out. Leaf trying to dance around, stay alive, find some cover. The shot card back there too. They're feeling so much pressure. A 1-for-1. Stellar holding the line again. He spots the gun barrel. Oh, but there's another swing that he was unexpecting.
He did a lot of damage, though. He may have done enough. Meanwhile, Jake got picked up in mid. This 3-player stack push catwalk found Jake in mid, and now it's a straight-up 3v3. The spike's still not planted. If Zeppa goes for the tap, they could choose that moment to spring the retake.
Oh, they're patient. The paranoia is going to cause some problems, but the spike goes down. They wait to funnel out. A 1-for-1 continues. 2v2 left on the round. Zealous is weak. And the pivotal pistol goes in favor of 100 Thieves.
Absolutely imperative that 100 Thieves won that one. It gets them back into this. Their defense side, it didn't look great against Sentinels, but they have all the pieces. Presumably that's one of the big things that they worked on heading into this week, especially if you're going to pick the map. But this was a must-win even to make it possible.
That 2K from Derek helped.
Yeah. And I think the player that I'm looking at is exactly the player that we're having that halftime discussion about. Cryo. He's 6-10 currently. I think it was 4-10 heading into the
right, yeah, halftime.
Into the halftime. And going into the half, for the series stats overall, Leaf 9-1 in first kills to first deaths, Cryo 2-11. So could not be a bigger differential between these two star players on Cloud9 and 100 Thieves in terms of their success rate early round. But now that Cryo, a more defensive, passive player, as DDK was saying, now that he's on that defensive side, maybe he can have more impact.
Yeah, but we had the same conversation on Lotus.
Absolutely, and he didn't.
Cloud9 was just able to find where Cryo was, and yeah, part of it was lucky, right? You guessed a couple of times, you guessed right. But if they're able to navigate away from Cryo again, this could be a very similar story.
You can see Cryo not investing very much in this round 14, probably to get an operator up as early as possible. And in theory, the defense side should be pretty strong here for 100 Thieves. The only thing they're really missing from their composition is that traditional Sentinel, the Killjoy. But Stella's gonna try and do the job instead, not quite working.
Once again, to face the pressure towards B, and the defenses crumble. You do have Cryo close by. Jake trying to find one, but Flash can't see a thing. Ultimately falls. Zeppa and Celsius are through, though, and they are going to get the spike down, so a little bit of money.
Left.
If nothing else. They're starting in funnel out through the paranoia. Great timing up from Bang. Better shot out from Celsius, but another round for the defensive side.
Definitely a little difficult for 100 Thieves to deal with, and that was only with, you know, Sheriffs online for Cloud9. And I think the stress is definitely going to be that lack of a Killjoy. The KJ provides you opportunities to get information passively in mid or over towards B. Alarm bot, turret, they're going to be set up so that you don't have to worry too much. In theory, if you had a very active Jet player, they might be able to run around and plug the gaps.
Right.
But Cryo will most often play one angle for a long time in the round. And that puts pressure on the other players, specifically Stella, who I think has got to have a phenomenal performance on this half. Let's have a look, though. Rifles online, 100 Thieves. Got a bonus buy.
That's the key to a hard hit.
They are not fighting over A main. Remember how aggressively Cloud9 fought for this area of the map, and 100 Thieves give it up for free. Full retake setup.
Such a stark juxtaposition to when we saw 100 Thieves trying to hit this exact same site. But we'll see if they're able to hold on. That's certainly going to help as the anchor falls.
Another kill through smoke.
Shock dart.
Rooney's weak, just avoids the shock dart.
2 down in hell, 1 on site, and then 2 back main. Can 100 Thieves crack through this? Position spotted. The spam's through. Not going to be good enough yet. There's 1 going down. That's another 2. But there's still so much to do. 100 Thieves are starting to call their way back into this thing. Can Zeppa play hero? No. But perhaps Celsius can. 1v2, 2 Bulldogs. The nade is going to provide some time. The flash is there. And that's clean from 100 Thieves.
Very nice retake on the bonus round. That's what you need. As far as I'm aware, I think that's the first bonus round they've won in the Americas this year. They have not been able to really convert, and my, oh my, what a time to do it. 4-8 down at the half, on the verge of losing this series, and having a dangerously bad deficit in the split overall, even by week 3. They come out with pistol, follower, and bonus round. All retakes, by the way.
They were outnumbered in that one, too. That was a 5v4 leading into things.
Yep.
Very well done. Might buy from Cloud9. A couple of Stingers, light armor. Not much else. But they trample down Cat. The spike separated. And Leaf dead. The spam through. Ascent hasn't taken any damage. He peeks back into the paranoia.
Wow.
He was blind. Ascent has taken over.
Is Rooney gonna let him?
Crowd loving that one.
And I think 100 Thieves will be too, because that puts them back up to 8-8. An incredibly pivotal round coming up where ults are definitely going to get expended. But that is a mighty streak of rounds.
What is that, 7 rounds in a row?
7 in a row. Cloud9 were up enormously.
8-1.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
8-1 and 100 Thieves have pulled this comeback.
Bring it.
What can Cloud9 do to equalize things? How do they get back into this? How do they break this overwhelming momentum that 100 Thieves have amassed?
Look at this once more. The attacking team allowed mid control, and instead the defenders taking B main. Cryo and Bang playing together here, dominating this entrance, and Celsius will find it very difficult with Rooney.
Oh, they were waiting for that.
Overpushed.
Yeah.
Spike
I feel like
down mid.
100 Thieves overplayed their hand there, and now Bang's gonna get caught on the walk back in.
They've lost mid. They've lost the map.
They might well have done.
Big from Asuna, but a good trade. And Leaf is intended to be just the cover here at this point. The spike is A. You've got Jake over there as well.
Spike planted.
Standing ahead.
Oh, it's so tempting. You spot him. You spot the shoulder. Jake dealing a little bit more damage, but numbers back for 100 Thieves.
A 2v3 where they don't quite know where Leaf is positioned, and there isn't great amounts of time.
Or health. And look at that, 38 and 39.
One enemy remaining.
Leaf gets the first, the second, dropped. A 3K for Leaf as Cloud9 take the lead back.
100 Thieves were in a great position to win that round, and they overplayed their hand massively. Pushing out past that very common alarm bot position and just swinging into any players that are over at tiles. I mean, I'm not surprised that 100 Thieves are calling a timeout here because I think they need to be calmed down a little.
Yeah.
7 rounds in a row, maybe that's a bit of overconfidence, or maybe they just feel like they need to be pushing. But to be honest, I think you can give mid control there and just play B main. They had 3 players around. They could have stopped Rooney and Celsius coming back into B main and stopped Leaf coming out from market. And instead, bit of a misstep. From our point of view, though, we can see that Cryo's invested in an op. And this is going to be the first time that Cryo's really had that online. I'm interested to see whether they play aggressively with it, though. Do they get him posted somewhere where he's able to find good value?
Yeah, maybe.
Does he try and rotate around or just stick in the same spot?
Hey, you wonder, maybe they post him up B main or something along those lines to play off of a little something and set him up, or...
I'd like to see him play mid, actually. I think that from what you've seen of Cloud9 so far, they're going to be playing mid very heavily, where someone could try and break drone and then, you know, Cryo can get a repeat. Or they're going to be grouping up pretty heavily in A main and going for a pop. And I think at that point, Cryo should be able to tell you whether or not there's an A split happening. And that's really useful for the A site defenders. So I think opping mid here is probably going to be the best idea. Cryo's going for it, but my concern is he doesn't have anybody with him. And that means he's going to have to give up if there was a drone in his face. We can see that's not going to be the issue, though. And overall, he is going to be able to give good insight to the rest of his team, potentially, if it ends up being a 3-person A-pop.
Knife only spots Leaf, and instantly rotations. Look at that. He's giving up mid, and he's going to go back A.
Yeah. But the recon dart being broken outside B main should give them some idea that this is not going to be a very early site hit, despite the utility used earlier. So now Cryo has the challenge of trying to get posted back on mid.
From a deeper angle, too, or a more shallow angle from their side. He has to be so careful. There's no threat, but he's got to be slow about it.
Derek has ult for this, but does he choose to use it? Or is he scared he'll get overwhelmed?
That's really close. Patience pays off. Doesn't ult, but Leaf cleans him up. You hear the op shot rattle off, not gonna land. It's so chaotic, but the spike has made its way through in the hands of Celsius. He's got to get the spike down.
And not only that, Rooney is playing a very safe position. Wow, this ult being ripped immediately to try and help them challenge.
Oh, Leaf was in such a good spot.
But that means no post-plant utility from the Sova ult.
No, and Cryo still has the op. Celsius able to drop Asuna, who tried swinging around, making a play. Info should be gathered here. We also have Rooney has drone. Rooney has drone, and I don't think it spotted anything. The swing out from Rooney. He's good for it onto Cellar. The spam to back. Cryo with blades in hand. Can he make a play? He's gotten it down to 1. The tap. And Rooney's able to play it so safely. So diligently. Oh my gosh, that was so close. He goes up to try to make the play. And Rooney stuffs it.
Another round secured by Rooney. What excellent play by Cloud9. Those 2 players held on for so long. Celsius and Rooney combining together to be able to save a situation that it looked like 100 Thieves retake was just going to work. And the coordination there just lacking compared to where we saw the very nice spill out of A Heaven. You know, when they were able to pull that off, everybody playing together, able to trade off each other. There, just, you know, Stella just jumps lane on his own and leaves Cryo. It looks like in the important moments, something's falling apart in the comms for 100 Thieves.
Early Hunter Fury out from Derek.
Cancelled.
And he goes forward. Huge up from 100 Thieves as they're getting a couple. Look at that pressure that they've applied B.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. They overpush B main again, lose one player, but Cryo survives. Now Cryo's in the attacker's spawn as Cloud9 run their way into B. Very weird positions. But once more, Cloud9 find themselves in a 2v3 scenario. Can they pick players apart?
Where is he gonna take this?
Watch them.
There's nowhere safe.
Just clearing out B main, I guess. Yeah. But Cryo's still close by. Now starting to take that space. You've got to be careful here. If you're
Player
Cloud9,
standing.
that hurts.
They do not expect Cryo to still be there.
No. Jake in this 1v3 spots one. The dash through there, too many targets. He's trying to handle everything, and he can't handle any of it.
Big response from 100 Thieves, deciding to throw caution to the wind there. Ripping a Hunter's Fury in the first 5 seconds, whilst also heavily pushing B main.
Just chaos.
And also, maybe that's the answer. Try to apply as much pressure as possible to this somewhat inexperienced Cloud9 squad, especially some of the players, and see if they crack. See if you can force the issue.
Well, it's funny that you say that too. Specifically, see if they crack. Because again, Cloud9 have been in this position where they've had a team that should on paper be better than them, down 1-0 in the series with the potential to put them away, and they've faltered in this exact situation, right? And 100 Thieves rattle off 7-8 rounds in a row, something along those lines, and you start to wonder, okay, is this, again, the story of Cloud9, where they get close, but they can't close the door? It's gone back and forth ever since that.
I think one of the key differences, though, here is that on Ascent, Cloud9 never looked like they had a chance against Loud. They were just out of it from the very beginning.
Sure.
At least Cloud9 have demonstrated that they can win this map. I mean, really, Cloud9 have looked like the better team so far.
I would agree.
I know the scoreline is only 1 round differential, but I think Cloud9 have come into this with slightly better coordination and some good reactive pushes, too. A timeout here as Cloud9 discuss how they want to try and finish this. Stella's ult might be a major issue for them, and it does seem like this would be a good round to invest it. Does he want to rip it off the, off the go? There are some spots where you could try and do that. Lock down A main, lock down maybe even Catwalk or B main early. It's not like we see Vipers frequently played here.
But he can play contact up here. Oh no, he's just gonna be ready for it.
He needs someone with him. This is what they were doing, leaving Cryo alone at the beginning too. Cryo's got an operator. How is he going to defend Stella?
Instantly got flashed, instantly dashed upon it. Now there's a little bit of help. He tried making a play, but it's traded back, and that's the pit.
Yeah, that's the pit gone. But honestly, Cryo did better than I was expecting, whipping out the shorty there. That's the power of that weapon, because they've actually stunted the push. They go 1 for 1, and yeah, that's beneficial for Cloud9, but they've lost their ability to enter. Leaf isn't there. The dash isn't available. Maybe they'll find it a bit more difficult, but if Cloud9 cut some noise, they could go for a re-hit. Zeppa's ultimate, providing that ability to get through whatever, utility setups might be stopping them.
Surprised too, I was worried with how far up Stellar was, if that lockdown would come to play. Or that ult, excuse me, the null command, but it looks like a fake.
Yeah, what a fake. What a time to call it. The problem here being, Cloud9 are a little far away. They're going to be able to get entry into the B site, though. And Derek not expecting this.
They have to be careful. They have to be cautious. Jake with the spike.
Cover going out.
Starting to smoke off, leaves Zeppa to die.
Another situation where Cloud9 get into a post plant, but a player down.
Yeah.
We've seen them win these. We've seen them lose these.
How do they hold this? You see the 2 nanos dropping onto the spike. Zelsis has to stay alive here.
Oh, I love this from Rooney. He's trying to get a timing past the drone. They think mid is clear, and Rooney's creeping.
He's got a shock dart, too. They're all going to funnel in from spawn right into Jake's crosshair! But they all fall, and now Rooney's position given away. Nano's not in play. Rooney not in play. We're tied again.
There has been a momentum shift in this map for sure. And while both teams demonstrated in previous games that their attack side was what they were favoring, you can see that 100 Thieves have made some serious developments to their defense. It's not so much that they're being able to lock down the sites. They're not even trying for that. They're only playing retake. They're just trying to stack players over towards one site, play the B retake, the Viper Wall being extremely useful for them if they've got it in position. And rely on the fact that they still have a lot of utility up. I mean, they still had full Sova util, full Omen util when it came time for the retake there.
One suppressed.
Cryo once more up in hand, misses the first shot.
And pressure once again from Leaf towards the middle of the map. They've gotten this far. They've gotten the spike down a couple of times. You've got to be careful here. Bang's going to be on a flank. Yeah, that paranoia is going to hit a couple. They've been able to mow them down. Stellar gets forward. Stellar gets the ace with one bullet.
You wanted a villain? I gave you a villain.
The second ace for 100 Thieves to power this comeback. That one an anti-eco, but I mean, in terms of getting ults online, Stellar will take those 5 points. Thank you very much. And we saw the Viper's Pit not really be that impactful last time he used it, but definitely will help them.
One enemy remaining.
Little reaction from the leader as he's starting to feel it. 1 round lead for 100 Thieves. They've done more than hung on at this point. But can they close the door on this map?
Yeah, that phrase from DDK definitely seeming apt at this point. Rooney, he's found. Oh, so close.
But I believe he spotted 2 there, so he knows the 2 that are on B. They're going to drop the lockdown too.
But this is a fake. They're going to end up pivoting into Ascent. Ascent got an ace previously. He spots 2, heading his direction. Still with a fragment grenade. But Bang has no one to play off. Everything's so solo when it comes to 100 Thieves defense.
He has a paranoia though. They're all blind. They can't see a thing.
Cover going out.
And that is crispy. Now it's Cloud9 forced to pivot. Once more playing a single player disadvantage situation. How has Cryo missed that?
3v3 for the round. 50 seconds left. Sight in favor of Cloud9.
Recon dart in the smoke. Uh-oh, spotted.
Planted. Oh.
Uh-oh, it's a fake. Zeus is still wise to it. Cleans him up. Numbers in favor of Cloud9. As this back and forth affair continues. That's big though. 100 Thieves equalizing numbers, the spike ticking away. What can they do? A 1-for-1. Leaps in the clutch and he wins it out. Once again, tied up at 11.
Good trades there from both teams as it comes down to the final moments, but really, Cloud9 managing to find that pick in the mid-round, up onto Heaven. Really creative mid-rounding there. Love the pathing. They realize that they lost A main. They don't try and challenge back. They instead decide, all right, maybe we can push up towards Heaven. And they do. They get rewarded with that pick on Cryo.
And it was narrow. I mean, he had the shot. You imagine he lands that off shot? What a different situation we have.
Yeah, very different. He's got the operator again in this round, very early. Cannon recon dart.
What do they
Leaf
have?
gets over. Recon dart through again, smoked off a little. Nobody in position to really spam off the back of it. So this is going to be, oh, Rooney with another.
Leafs playing on the other side of the door as well. 100 Thieves have been here a lot, though. They've been outnumbered, and they've been able to retake and win situations that they probably shouldn't be able to.
I mean, mostly they've had player advantages, though, to be honest. They haven't won that many 4v5s.
They're going to have to do it here to keep Cloud9 away from that point. Derek Strone not spotting anyone. And Zeppa's able to receive the aggression from Heaven. 3 on the round for him, of 1 other for Leaf, and 12 for Cloud9.
One step away from delivering an enormous result for the team that came in here into Americas with the lowest expectations, to be honest. Not for any reason to do with their player quality, but just the circumstances the team had been put into.
Right.
But my word, the pressure has created diamonds. And for 100 Thieves, they've got to win this, even to get to OT. Against Sentinels, they got to OT and immediately lost 12-14. The things that must be going through that team's head.
Suppress it. One suppressed.
There begins to hit Cryo's blades, not finding any value. But Bang keeping them back for now. They have some semblance of control, some semblance of authority on the side as Bang gets 3 in the round.
That's amazing performance by Bang, frankly.
The anchor delivering again, but can they close it out? It seems inevitable. Rooney's left in this clutch, and he's not able to do it. Regulation not enough. We go again.
What a
Switching
map.
sides.
These two teams are so even. The fast hits simply not really working for Cloud9. 100 Thieves able to mop them up more than often. But what a performance there from Bang. Ripping 3 off as Jake, I think, was teleporting kind of into his face. And now, how are they going to adjust? The mind games between Stella and Rooney. Defense to start for C9.
And this is where you expect experience to be the difference maker, but I mean, that hasn't been the case at all.
And there's such layered experiences, right? Cloud9 have got very experienced players too that will be there for guidance. This is a big push coming out of B main early. Is this the set play we saw earlier? No, not quite as fast.
There's a flash set up. There's a paranoia there too. The dash, the paranoia, and Leaf finds nothing. Great hold from Cryo.
It was that same set play, actually. The nanoswarm came through as well to clear the back of Heart, but Cryo was ready for it this time. And my oh my, Cryo being able to get that first kill advantage over Leaf is something we have not seen much of in this match.
Not at all.
What a time to do it.
And now everything in the round comes to a screeching halt. Silence across the site.
But there's actually some really big utility tools that 100 Thieves have lost there. They had to use Paranoia early. They now don't have Drone, that's cancelled. No dash for Cryo, no smokes. So they can't really break crosshairs getting into the site. Things are still going to be a little difficult here, despite the fact they stopped the early salvo.
There's a nano just on the other side. Cleared out by the Shark Dart. Well done. The protocols from 100 Thieves clean, but the spray from Jake good too. 4v3 in favor of 100 Thieves as they funnel out. The flash sets up Zelsis to get Derek. And they have a decent idea of where Stellar is. Surely they know, right? Oh gosh, they're not going to check. They're not going to check. Zelsis wins it out anyway.
Down B.
2 remain. Now 1 for 100 Thieves as he falls. Cloud9 series point.
14-12 the score last time 100 Thieves took to this map. And I could definitely see a world where it all slips away from them painfully again.
30 seconds left.
DDK was saying they just need to hang on.
1 enemy remaining.
And this is by the skin of their teeth. Can they put together another round to keep this OT going?
See Zelsis so animated, talking through the situation. He's always been vocal, has always been known to be a leader.
And meanwhile, some kind of heads hanging from the 100 Thieves players. Body language definitely, I think, showcasing the difference in expectations coming into this map and into the match in general. If you had talked about the clash between these two teams at the beginning of the year, you're expecting 100 Thieves to win this one and be competing with those teams in the upper echelon.
Oh,
they haven't been.
Yeah.
They just have not been. And now Cloud9 look to take a juicy scalp.
And again, the implications for the rest of the season potentially
are massive. 100 Thieves has yet to play against Furia, Loud, Leviathan, NRG. If 100 Thieves can't put away Cloud9, if 100 Thieves can't put away Sentinels, are they going to be able to get wins against the top 4?
There's trouble afoot. Cloud9 1 round away from this upset. And at this point, we're going to have to start having conversations around whether or not they're upsets. If Cloud9's the real deal.
Absolutely. I mean, they have looked like the real deal in all of their matches. They've put an operator into Cryo's hands, 100 Thieves. And this is going to be fast. Trying to punish Derek early.
And they do! The aggression is too much for Derek. Caught on the back foot. And now just forced to sit and watch.
What a fantastic reaction coming out from Leaf. And the fast rounds have failed usually because there's been somebody anchoring on B. Not this time. It's going to be a 4v5 retake. And Cryo with an operator in hand. I bet he's wishing he had a rifle now.
Jake, patient. That high-low's too much to kill through. I don't know how the heck he got away with that, but either way, traded out. Now Jake forced to push forward, and Ascent cleans him up. 3v3 further out, but the spike has been planted. It's again retake for 100 Thieves.
Can Zelsis be the thorn in their side? Hiding around in B main.
That's another. Cryo falls. It all falls down to Stellar. He's been clutched before. Can he do it again? He spots one, but that's all it is. The time low. Stellar has to go forward and Leaf on the other side. I don't know that there's enough time. Even he gets a kill. He's gotten it down to 1, but that's all it's going to be. Underdogs no longer. Cloud9 take down 100 Thieves.
What a performance from this squad. Not even dropping a map, a clean 2-0. It got close, it got scrappy, but it's another 14-12 loss for 100 Thieves, this time on their map pick, Ascent. And the game plan from Cloud9 has just been lovely on Lotus, on Split against Loud. And this battle of the mid-table, Cloud9 going from a team that people were counting out to serious contenders to rise up. Top 6 makes it to playoffs. We talked at length about how the strength of schedule gets way worse for 100 Thieves moving forwards. For Cloud9, that is a great victory.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It will propel them up the standings. And once again, another masterclass from Leaf. What a menace he is on Duelist.
And I want to very quickly, as we continue to talk about Cloud9, oftentimes you'll see new teams and new programs kind of try to shore up and protect their new players, right? Put them in situations where they have support, they don't really need to deliver on their own. But Rooney and Jake, again, have been so exceptional for this squad. They haven't been put in situations where they just need to deliver a little bit, right? And just kind of float by. They've answered the call for Cloud9. They've been individually clutch. They've stood tall for this squad.
And more so than that too, I think Cloud9 have just immediately come together as a team.
Yeah.
So there are so many other teams in Americas that would like to have the level of coordination this squad does. I mean, 100 Thieves had some rounds where they demonstrated it for sure, but the C9 team has just come together wonderfully to open things up. 2 aces in this, by the way, for the opposite side for 100 Thieves as they battled back. And it was a valiant comeback, but not quite enough.
No, I believe Stellar got a 4K on that last round as well.
Yeah,
he got one of those A's. Yeah.
Absolute consolation prize, though. The rest of Cloud9 making sure there was no hope. And so many moments where 100 Thieves were left in a retake, and you just can't win every retake.
No. No, not at all. It's such a difficult ask. As you see the fist bumps come through once again, Cloud9 shattering expectations.
And for 2 teams where you would look at them at the beginning of the year and say, blockbuster matchups, some of the best that North America has to offer. Those expectations, they settled down a little bit, but now both teams trending in the opposite direction, right? 100 Thieves now seriously slipping up 2 of their best chances, and Cloud9 rocketing upwards.
And once again, you got to give love to MC, you got to give love to Cupert. The program that they have set up for these 2 young stars, who are very quickly becoming that, by the way. They are not just kind of floating under the radar anymore. They're really coming into their own, and they're delivering. It's been flawless. Cloud9 take down 100 Thieves. We'll throw it back down to the desk.
Thank you so much, Doug. And to be honest, I couldn't agree more with the way that the youngsters here for Cloud9 are assimilating into the team and making a name for themselves. They're making us eat crow on the desk here. All 3 of us going with that 100 Thieves prediction at the top of the day. And instead, it's a 2-0 the other direction, a 2-0. Not even a third map, Van Silly. Not even a third map. Sure, we got the OT here on Ascent, but Cloud9, they get it done. They lock it up.
Cloud9, they got it done, but it also seems at some point that 100 Thieves weren't really ready until like C9 maybe not studying enough tape, where C9 rushing out towards B still worked out for a couple of kills here and there, but overall, I mean, it was a great fight from both sides. It was just slipping through. Another one of those matches where for 100 Thieves, it came down to the wire just like it did versus Sentinels, and they just let that slip through their fingers, a map that they picked, and they couldn't bring this to a third map.
Yeah, I mean, for 100 Thieves, their attack side was looking a little rough at the beginning.
Dude.
I think, like, if they just had, like,
Yeah.
a little rough, if they just had a couple more rounds, rounds going into it, then their defense side was kind of looking not that bad. They obviously started warming up towards the end, and we started seeing more firepower. And kind of like what Sideshow was just saying, where, like, we did see them finally step up to that plate, where between firepower from each team, it was like, finally looking up.
Right? And what a roller coaster, though, that this second map was, because we saw there, that was round 3 of the map. All first 3 rounds go over to 100 Thieves. They win that bonus up against Cloud9, the Eco, against the Eco Kings.
Exactly.
But Van's not to be outdone. Cloud9 finds a way to clap back in just round number 4.
Well, that was the storyline that we were talking about before, too, right? When you're seeing that you're a team that's able to get ecoed, when you're supposed to be the best team in North America for ecos, you're like, hey, we got an answer for ourselves getting into this 4th round. A lure buy that they have, a hero rifle on top of that. We see the value now behind getting like a hero rifle behind Leaf to allow these rounds to happen to to allow the pinches to happen, and to allow the aggression to just fight back against C9. And look at these stats right here in terms of how this storyline just built around C9.
I mean, this is crazy. 18 first kills for C9 versus just 8 for 100 Thieves. I mean, that put them in so many 5v4 situations that is someone's dream. And I think, like, even coming into it, I mean, they got, what, aced twice?
What's going on? Like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I mean, it's so cool to watch happen. But for the fact that the map was even that close, considering 18 first bloods to 8 on the other side, is already wild. But then, of course, as you just mentioned, Athena, it was the aces on the other side. Fine, we're not getting the first bloods, so we're fighting from 4v5 positions or 1v4, 1v5 positions. And 100 Thieves, they've made some miracles in this. I think that's something that we shouldn't ignore, even though the overall series scoreline doesn't look great for them.
Yeah, it came back to that storyline that we talked about. I mean, look at this, too. 2 first bloods. We talked about 18 in favor of C9, but 2 of them on the attack. 400 Thieves. On the attack of Ascent, you're supposed to be the one getting entries, opening things up on the attack, and you got shut down, actually, for 100 Thieves in that second map. So that is definitely, like, some of the things that doesn't pan out into your game plan of how you wanted to prepare against C9. But as you've mentioned, like, we wanted some players to really step up to the plate. The question was around if Cryocells can't really step up to the plate, can somebody else can. And yes, in moments we talked about Bang, but it's also on these players. Asuna right here with the ace. I think we also had Stellar with 1, but also Stellar with a clutch on a 2 versus 1 in round number 12 that just allowed 100 Thieves to actually make that comeback, bring that momentum in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, even the comp coming in from 100 Thieves could have been one of the reasons why they couldn't get that first blood. They couldn't initiate that much space going into it for Cryo, but as you can see here, like, Stellar just kind of going off, showing that he can play the game too. And I think that comp is something that I really, really was doubting, honestly. Like, I saw the Viper, I kind of got mad. I was like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
Like, they did a good job at splitting the site. On that defense side, they started splitting the site, they started fighting the right sides, they kind of supported their teammates, and I think that that's something that they couldn't really do on attack. Like, it looked like they had a game plan. It looked like what 100 Thieves was trying to do was kind of isolate the site, take the fight, punish rotators, punish other people or people being isolated, but I mean, C9 just wasn't giving it to them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Aces like that, plays like that, show you that 100 Thieves, they have the individual pieces to make something happen, but they haven't found a way to get them to all fit together just yet. For Cloud9, it's a very, very beautiful win to kick off their week 3. Let's go ahead and send it down to the stage. Rivington is standing by with Rooney for the Verizon post-game interview.
Thank you very much, Dash. We are here for the Verizon post-match interview with Cloud9 Rooney after they get the 2-0 pickpocket on 100 Thieves. Expected, but for some unexpected. I want to know, though, as we look back, the bounce back from Loud, it was super close on Ascent for Cloud9, super close on Pearl. What was the mentality for the team coming into this week to make sure those matches, things like that, could be closed out?
Yeah, well, we know we're a fairly new team, and we had a good first week against Evil Geniuses. Came into week 2. We looked strong to start off the series with taking the first map. So I think, with 3 weeks of practice, taking a map off of one of the best teams in the world was good for us. So going in today, we were super confident in taking the 2-0. We all knew that was going to happen, and everybody that watched, around knew. We just needed to play confident as we have been, and we knew we would take it.
Talk to me about that goal. What was the key, you think, to taking down 100 Thieves? Whether it was just playing your game or were you able to counter-strat?
Yeah, we didn't really counter-strat anything. We know that they're a fairly, solid individual team. They make a lot of, superstar plays and have a lot of aces, like you guys saw. But we've been playing very, together, and we knew that if we just played smart, then we can take that down.
And looking at how sudden it was that you joined Cloud9, actually, we were just speaking that you've talked to academy coaches and previously before, so there was almost a lineage there to the Cloud9 roster. But now, having joined the team, all this pressure around you, how are you handling that? It seems amazing, but kind of what was your take when you were in this position?
Right, so obviously the public view is a little different because nobody really knew who I was prior, and same with Jake as well. And thanks to Matt for taking a chance on us and letting us show what we can do. The pressure doesn't really get to me that much. I've been playing competitive sports for a long time, so it doesn't really get to me. I can't speak for Jake, but I'm sure he would say something around the same thing. But yeah, the guys make it really easy to mesh in. The coach is, making it easy for us, and we're playing well. So.
All right, talk to me about Rooney. What are you hoping to show people this season on Cloud9?
right? So I'm, the new IGL in the scene, coming into an elite roster with some good players that have been playing together for a long time and coming in to be their IGL. It's really cool for, me to get that recognition from my teammates and now the community as well. I've been seeing my name get tossed around in the IGL, circle of who's the best and whatever, blah, blah, blah. So it's cool to be seeing that recognition as well. And hopefully after this 2-0, there's more, yeah.
And then we thank you all for those Sheriff's clips as well. Final question for you before I let you go. MIBR versus Energy next. Who do you got? Who are you thinking?
I think Energy is looking really good right now. I think after losing their first series, they have a lot to show. And last week they were very, very dominant. And I'm expecting the same exact thing this week as well.
All right, everybody, Cloud9 Rooney, a victory for Cloud9 over 100 Thieves. We are going to take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere, though. You heard it right here. We got MIBR versus Energy up next. We'll see you there.
Cool.
We're set, so let's go ahead and get Saturday started off right. 4 teams will take to the stage today. Anything can happen. Anything will happen. The battle of 1-1 teams here in Week 3, Cloud9 versus 100 Thieves. VCT Americas starts right now.
Look at Jake in a position to make a huge play, and that's a spike. Well, out of reach of the remaining members of 100 Thieves, as Jake gets a second, the third is teed up and dropped. The guy continues to answer the call.
Every round, listen, let's not get eagles.
The triple pump fake is taking place. Cryo, the only one with ball. You can't imagine he uses it here as Elsis is able to spam through the utility, through the smoke to another kill, and it's clean from Cloud9.
Let's go, Jill. Let's go, baby. Nice smoke, Jill.
Derek is already falling. Jake's being so pesky, and he gets 2 clean shots out from him. The order falls. Cloud9 once again find themselves up 1-0 in the series. Derek playing spoiler a little bit. On to Leaf, he gets a second onto Jake too. Oh dear! Right. All good. And there's no go. There's nothing to really send Cryo out. Now a Leaf comes through. Leaf gets a third anyway.
Flash, baby.
Flank, yeah, that paranoia is gonna hit a couple.
They've been able to move.